All right, welcome to week 5 of Radio 2 of for your second year of this year in our academic calendar. For H Radio 223 part timers, my name is Chris, you know me. Just remember also that as we approach our assessment week, where I think it's going to be, well, let me just check there just to get the weeks correct. I know you're counting them down too. We're at 1, 2, 3 weeks, right? So you have to submit. So please make sure that you do ask me any questions if you do have any concerns about the submission, the assigned questions themselves, or the quality of your work. Right, if you just want to pass it by me, especially during that submission week. Be careful because we might not be consistently available. Just your lecturers, right? So make sure that you do that beforehand, and we can avoid anything, any hiccups, right? Again, also remember once again, obviously to make sure that you do submit. I'd say far in advance, so you've got the whole week. Don't leave it, should I say, to the last minute. Okay. We're continuing with lesson 13. I say we're continuing with particularly on air. We moved into that particular section this weekend. So when I saw you in class, we started chatting about just the on air elements, personality wise, as well, just kind of your attitude as well. We did also start looking and criticizing constructively radio shows that we do listen to or have listened to in the past that are also currently available, and we will continue doing that today as well. Okay, so lesson 13, voice and performance. That's from Geller's book, Beyond Powerful Radio. And we are going to be looking at chapter 2. Specifically, are you a generator or a reactor? So you can go reference that page 9 to 12. What we're going to do is go through obviously the lesson, and then I'm going to pull up two videos, Ayanda MPP as well as the Ntando Tabete, um, and we're going to criticize and see where they are in terms of personalities, whether they fit as generators, reactors, or maybe are a bit of a hybrid. I think it's a bit difficult also to expect you to know exactly once we go through this terminology and then once you understand these kind of two sects, just to disclaim, they're quite obviously because they vary so much, generators versus reactors. We want to be able to also say that, listen, people are people, and so they will be at one or other point, maybe a little bit more of a generator, maybe more a reactor, but do have still the skills and the traits of the opposite that they are. So, for example, myself, I am a generator, and we'll see now why. And but I do have reactor qualities on air. I can react and I can react to content that, when I go in prep or whatever it may be, when I do see an interview or that I'm busy conducting an interview, I could be reacting uh, gen like genuinely. A lot of what I do in that particular interview is reacting. And I'm not just saying reacting in the literal sense that you're going to sit and react to a question, reacting particularly on information that I don't know that is, being obviously offered to me, busy learning on the go, and then generating according to that, maybe feeding off that particular, in this particular instance, that interviewee could offer off my co-host, whatever it may be, right? Still wondering, like, what is this guy talking about? Because what is a generator and a reactor? Two classes of personality types that we have, both as people and obviously as professionals, right? Because that's what we do on radio. We're either one or the other. Or I mean, we're professional and we're, I say, kind of like obviously the personal side of us is what we sell on radio. So just to make sure that we note that these type of personalities, both generator and reactor, is referring to that person as a whole. Um, because of the nature of the product that we are, in the business that we are in, right? What are generators? Generators, he, she, they, them, right? Because it is 2024, can easily work alone or as part of a team. They can visualize original ideas. They have a strong independent imagination, and well, obviously these particular type of people can come up with many different types of topics. So if you're saying to yourself that I mean I've pretty much described you in a nutshell, then you are a generator, right? If we look at these different aspects, and this is why I say so, I obviously not relate. I am a generator. Um, I don't uh, I don't particularly, unless I have to, like working in a team, but because not a team player, I do like the control of working alone. It kind of like, again, it is majorly controlled. That's the biggest thing. So I can come up with the condensity or the context or the capacity or uh, the, you know, the depth, the richness, whatever it is, or whatever I'm doing at a particular point within my own time limits and with my own, I would say, boundaries that I can push without having to kind of have to create some kind of a synergy, I suppose, is the one that comes to mind. But correlate, that is a better word, with different people's ideas. So for me, it's less messy, and it's also something that you've got to think about. Oh, what have I been in my entire life? So even as a kid, normally your personality seems to come to fruition actually when you are around about 10, 11 years old, right? And the person that you were then, right, is the person that you are actually now. Yes, you are in many different ways, a little bit more refined, obviously more educated. You know a lot more, but the person at the very center, your personality, right, is exactly the same. The same things will irritate you, right? The same things you don't like, the same things you're kind of passionate about, the same things excite you. The your again, just kind of the way that you interact, I suppose, with the world around you. So that means people and places and situations, right? It's kind of how you always are going to be. And I mean, that's a good thing, right? So you can at least depend on yourself for that. So you can imagine that either that 10-year, 11-year-old what type of person were you? And I was definitely a kid that did not like, no, no, working in a team, right? Okay, I can visualize original ideas. Generator can come up with just ideas on the spot, and not exactly like on the spot. Like, give me an idea. No, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about, okay, I can just look up to the proverbial sky, right? Think in my head, kind of like that, like a cartoon would, tap his tap his little head and think, okay, oh, this is a great idea. So it comes from original ideas. I don't have to go and look at a piece of paper. I don't have to necessarily go and ask someone else, um, so that I could be a reactor to what they are saying. I can come up with things originally, right? Strong independent imagination. I think that's something that we don't have to really break down. That's just you and your creative space, right? That just freely and is confident also because it is something that you are very familiar with. I'm saying the process of imagination and creativity. That's who you are, right? Strong, independent imagination, and then you can come up with an endless amount of topics. So many topics, and I've said to you before, like at any one particular point, if you feel that you are limited in terms of what you could come up with creatively within not even a radio show context. I'm saying ideas as a professional, then you're 10 to 1 not going to do really well in this particular industry or in any of our sister industries, television, digital, print, whatever it may be, creatively, right? In media. True generators are actually rare and can be the life of the party. Yeah, I suppose, depending on your personality. So if you are an introvert or extrovert or an intro extrovert, intro extrovert, extra introvert, but it depends. And also what you feel like. If you feed off that, then you feed off that. as presenters, so as broadcasters, do like to feed off attention, right? So perhaps you are an introvert in your personal space, like in your personality says, I'm an introvert. I prefer being alone. I prefer, my own space. Your professional part of you that feeds off, right? The attention, the validation, and their enjoyment. So, because I don't want to make it sound like we're desperate for this attention, right? It's part of what makes us so great, as I've mentioned before, right? You know, being the life of the party, man, you've got that bit of personality. Just unlock, 15 minutes of fame is what I call it. 15 minutes of fame, and it's easy to do, and it's quite. You do feel better when you go and you do this, when you do perform like on a stage for a crowd, or again you have people's attention, they're all laughing, they're enjoying you. You are the one with the biggest personality. Generator. Okay, we go to reactors now, and reactors are creative individuals too, right? Two. They can take existing ideas and come up with original ideas that make them more workable, more I say valuable to the listener, in our context as radio professionals. It's they're going to get, let's say, a base idea. So for example, let's talk about creativity, right? And a reactor would say, well, I don't want to talk about creativity in general. I want to look at creativity within, let's say senior citizens, particularly now. So let's say, I don't know, like stimulating creative, uh, you know, I'm not going to try and be a reactor here because I already said, quote unquote, I'm a generator, right? But that's why you might be able to see now, look, you can be kind of both, more one thing than another. But anyway, let me just play the role of a reactor right now and say, for example, I would like to explore something on air that is, a creative stimulation for senior citizens that is actually making them live. It's called, obviously it's contributing to a longer lifespan or a healthier lifespan. It's starting to, decrease the chances of I don't know, things like you going senile or whatever it is, and senile covers quite a lot of I say, uh, medical conditions, right? All right. Anyway, sidebar, right? So taking a very particular, idea and then going and making it original and workable, right? So they can pick up on remarks or comments and can be very funny. Ideally, you would imagine this person as a co-host, not necessarily so. Um, One of our obviously most popular reactors is Anele, right? So Anele is very good at reacting to any situation very originally, a lot of wit, and a lot of obviously charisma when she does do that. But she's definitely a reactor, predominantly so, and less so a generator, right? They can pick up that their response, should I say, with insightful or witty remarks. Hashtag Anele again. Okay, and they work best with other people to spark their creative energy. So surrounding her with a team, obviously, is where she shines better, should I say, right? Or she shines the most. Ideally, not, try and think of a certain situation besides when she was at varsity, right? When she was hosting, uh, at peak, where she was hosting the lunch show at Tux. She was doing it on her own, right? But Anila has been surrounded by other people, right? Because she knows what works for her, and also managers know what worked for her best. Generators versus reactors. How do you tell the difference, right? So if we have a look, generators seemingly have a lot more energy. It just depends on that person, I suppose, But okay, at the end of the day, you do say to yourself, oh, I mean, again, if I look at a generator, they are quite, I'm saying, more manic in terms of like that high energy. Try and think of that person when they wake up in the morning. Try and see what their reactions are at like 12 o'clock at night. I don't know, whatever it may be, right? Um, and not just a time or an energy thing, but just like being around people and the way that they, I suppose, portray themselves in many different ways, right? Take huge risks and worry about it later. They can sit alone in a room and have lots of ideas. Just to again kind of recap, right? Reactors, they are quick with responses, stories, memories with topics that they are given, and they must be led with an opening suggestion story. And most people are then so found to be reactors. Again, generators quite rare, right? Again, very, very, very highly creative individuals, right? And we can have a lot of creative individuals as reactors, surrounded by or as part of a team where a generator does reside. Okay. Mismatched combinations of generators and reactors can have disastrous consequences. In other words, should you have put a generator in a role and a reactor in another role, or a number of reactors in incorrect roles, versus where an incorrect role might be placed for a generator, you're going to have uh, a consequence or an outcome that isn't going to work. So let's not over dramatize it too much then, but it isn't going to work. It's going to be a bit of a disaster, right? Why isn't it going to work? Because mainly people, right here, people are not comfortable where they need to actually be, and that means we're not getting the most out of them, right? By show of hands, you can just show for yourself how many students believe for yourself, right, that they are generators, that you are a generator or a reactor. Maybe you are a combination of both, particularly predominantly maybe a generator with a little bit of reactor qualities to you, or more so a reactor, and the competency to come up with, I say situational ideas, contextual ideas. When I say contextual, situational, it just depends on where you are, who you are with, or what is maybe sparking your interest, or what is it that you might need. I'm saying from your direct ecosystem environment to perhaps maybe generate in a specific way. All right. We then move into a methodology of, yes, it comes from me, page 47, where uh, in my textbook, Word and Radio, I put together a little methodology called the spin method. Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to go and try and put personality on a paper, right? Which is which is something that you're not supposed to be able to do. But I thought, well, listen, yeah, we have to measure how we translate personality into something tangible, because everything on radio then becomes tangible, right? Based on what it is that we can procreate from the basis of who we are as a professional and a personal product, right? At the end of the day. So, the reality is that creating content is far more difficult than reacting to content. So, any method that you have learned from generator versus reactor, right, is a good method to learn, right, or know that you are like class yourself underneath there, and you move forward with your obviously strongest attributes, right? We look at the spin method and we bring it we break it up into different parts, right? SPIN, S being the self, right? S being the self, not being. So the self, why is it very important to know who you actually are when you are deciding you're going to have a career in radio broadcasting, you're going to go on air, you're trying to connect with other people. You have to really understand that when you are building a product, it's got to start from a core foundation that has like solid. It's like it's solid rock, well, basically solid steel. I don't know what can't be broken. Vibranium, right? Right. So Wakandan vibranium can't be broken. You need a foundation of understanding who you are in many different ways. So go and take a piece of paper if you have to. And obviously, it's better to take a piece of paper and write down all these things that, all these characteristics of yourself, things that you, again, like or don't like, things that basically motivate you or drive you, things that are obstacles, I suppose, difficulties for you, weaknesses, strengths, I suppose, as well. And try to think of certain situations throughout your life where you had reacted in a certain way. I mean, this basically allowed you fed off this particular um, situation, and then you can go and dissect that as well. Or you crumbled and you were crippled because you understand now. Listen, like these are my weaknesses. I don't do well in these situations, right? But I can manage myself better, right? Which things are about your personality? Which aspects of your personality are triggers as well? Because you have to manage your triggers when you are on air. You've got to also manage yourself as someone that maybe has been trained at some or one other point to view life in a specific way, and it might not be that palatable to people in the larger. I'm saying in the larger target market or in just in a larger public space, right? So again, it can be when I say things like that, that's part of your mindset. The mindset is part of who you are, right? Big thing is that you don't model yourself off some other person's personality because they already have it. It's very obvious that you will be susceptible to, let's say, someone that you really enjoy listening to. So you listen to them for years, right? As you grew up, perhaps maybe when you start radio specifically, you will become more kind of like aware of different personalities, how they're doing certain things, the way that they laugh, the way that they quickly respond, or they quickly joke about stuff in a way that's so good, or whatever it may be, and you start to quote unquote idolize them. So you by default are going to start to imitate this particular person and different people that you might again find are a bit, they're kind of idols to you within the space. And then you're going to turn out to be a hot mess because not only are you not obviously honing in on who you are, but you really are trying to be a really second rate version of someone who already knows how to do it better than you. In other words, they have their own personality, they are masters of that first and foremost, and you will never be like them, right? Okay, or you'll never be them. You can try be like them, but you'll never be them. Listeners know when not being authentic, right? So they can tell. There's in many different ways. There's a person that's got very poetic execution on air, and it's so exhausting to have to listen to this kind of like very polished, very kind of cliched person on the air that says things. Oh, I'm not being judgy. I can't. I mean, I literally heard it yesterday, and it's like these things that you're saying that people don't speak like that when you're back announcing songs and when you're trying to. It's very old hat radio, um, and in no way can you genuinely expect to build a relationship if you keep disconnecting and connecting from authentic to not, even in one particular, so I say it, one particular moment. So you're even back announcing songs and you're doing admin, and it's all this tailor-made perfection, right? That no one can relate to. I'm saying they'd be like, who is this person, right? And then all of a Sunday, like you're sitting there and you're trying to have this like really deep communication with them, and now you're showing aspects of your quote unquote authentic self. No, know yourself, please. Right, let's go to the personality. Right, okay. So different from the self, personality is something that yes, everybody has, as I've mentioned before, but the thing is, it is a bit of a calling to be an on-air personality. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone does do it. Not everyone will do it. Right. And more and more so, if you're having a question, let's say upon your particular journey where you want to be, if you are interested in working in radio, I would certainly at this very point, like, so you are at varsity right now, you have BMH radio to go and test it out. You will be doing it anyway in the second semester. Better you learn now and see whether you actually enjoy being on air, because as far as I can't really understand it. I like being on air. I my I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. I like being on air. I do well on air. I have been doing well on air. I don't understand what's not to like about it. So like presenting a show, and obviously connecting to listeners, coming up with content, and having conversations, and whatever it may be, right? But a lot of people just will be like, there's nothing nice about this. I don't like the way it makes you feel. I don't like having to, um, you know, uh, I don't know. I wouldn't like to be a construction worker, just saying, because I have tender, gentle hands. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of pressure. And I wouldn't be able to go to bed at night thinking maybe that building that I built is going to crash down on people working in it or living in it. Yeah. Anyway, so mania and personality, right? Anyway, if you are an on-air personality, you'll know immediately once you go and do a show and actually put yourself behind the mic, right? Is your personality outgoing? In other words, can you relate to many different types of people? Are you a person of the world? In other words, that wants and is curious about or of the world around them and the people in there and the happenings in there. Can you talk to the world, right? To put it in a big umbrella, right? In other words, can you speak to anyone? Can you create conversation around anything? And can you do it properly? In other words, that personality that is magnetic. Magnetic people want to come and be around you or even be with you for that particular moment when you are talking to or about something, right? You can be articulate and well spoken, but without personality, longevity in radio is genuinely not for you. So we say, like, look, personality to the power of 5, 10, 15. Your personality, if it's big, that's great. On radio, it's got to be a little bit bigger because it has to translate to many different people out there. And it's like standing on a soapbox. Maybe you got to, instead of scream, you got to connect, right? Um, Scream and shout, connect. Let's look at the spin methodology. Putting the I in. And this is about attitude, right? This is really attitude. So it's still part of an intangible thing. So something you can't really touch or feel. Attitude, putting the I into your work. So if you are invested in a product, you are going to, everything else becomes secondary, right? You're going to sit there and perhaps maybe you're not getting paid. Like it will be secondary to actually the work that you're currently doing, right? Because you've got a bigger picture here, you're getting skills, like you're becoming better. You got the platform that you want. In other words, you asked for it, you're dreaming of it, you're on air, for example, right? Maybe you're not getting paid as much as another presenter, right? And maybe you found this out, or you're not getting um, brand investments or uh, accounts. You understand contracts uh, with with all the, like I say, the bells and whistles, like another presenter. Maybe your co-host is getting it. Anything that will basically take away, the attention of what it is that you are actually doing, putting the eye in to your work, dedicating, being on time, putting a good show together. When you are tired, know that you've got a job to do because your listeners are not tired. They're actually They're feeding off you and what you're putting there together for them. Um, Making sure that obviously a show is clean and it's professional. So with as little hiccups or as least the least amount of hiccups that you could possibly have, right? Being very present in your execution and believability at the end of the day is key. If you don't do it, ain't nobody going to say that you are, right? So you can talk. You are this, you can do this, whatever it is. If you don't actually show anyone or show the world, man, if you don't put yourself into it, they're going to be like, well, no, don't berate the station and it's music, it's programming, it's advertisements, whatever it may be, the other presenters, doesn't matter. In any other way, the brand is bigger than you are. You're going to put yourself into being loyal, being supportive, being, um, enthusiastic, promotional, whatever it may be, right? You've got to put all of yourself, like in any job, right? In any job, focus on the way that you put in the amount of work, the quality of the work. Not, I said not necessarily always the capacity of the work, so the amount, but the quality of that work, that investment. Um, and if you are checking out at any one particular point, you can feel like, oh man, I'm not feeling this at all, but I still want to do it. Be very aware and go and do some self care, right, to make sure that it doesn't become something that you're going to regret at the end of the day. The last one, the last little point in the acronym there, SPIN methodology being natural, right? Being an organic radio personality, very important. So making sure that you go on air, you don't have that very announcer voice, that you don't have that little perfect presentation, as I said before. Um, that's again, it's very annoying to hear that and to know that even station managers or program managers allow that on air still, in whatever small capacity it is, because it is in a much smaller capacity than it used to be. Again, maybe 40 years ago, 40 or 30 years ago, when presenters had to have that very perfect instruction and present the way that they presented themselves as presenters, right? Just always think about someone again that is announcing at like a shopping mall or whatever, that's announcing on like on a whatever sound system. They don't have a lot of. I'm not saying that you should have ums and ahs, whatever it is, but they are perfect. They're scripted. They're telling you about all the specials that are currently in this particular shop or the shopping center. They are saying where you can go get what, how you're going to win something. Please, we're calling out for this type of person. You understand? It's more announcer-ish, very casino-like at the end of the day. So you want to be an organic radio personality, do not be influenced by thoughts and pressures from the industry itself as well, and external, obviously, factors. Always encounter to be, or that doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's see, aim to be as natural as a person as the one people encounter every day when they meet you on the quote unquote street. Yeah, four major focuses or four main areas that'll help broadcasters encompass the best of their radio cap. When we say the radio cap, and I mentioned this in class, like you have a student cap, you have your brother cap, you have a sister cap, you have a daughter son cap, you have a daughter cap and a son cap, a different one, right? Because I'm umbrellaing them in there. You have a wife or a husband or a boyfriend, girlfriend cap. Remember, each one of these caps will influence 100% the context and I would say the capacity and once again the communication of what you're going to say, how you're going to behave, and which aspect of you're deciding to put that particular hat into like obviously action. In other words, as a brother, you're going to talk about very different things in comparison to as a son, for example, right? Or as a friend or as a student. So in this case, you have to bring still yourself, right, into all those particular hats that you wear. And in radio, you're still coming in as yourself, but you're coming in as a polished professional, right? So not polished announcer, polished professional presenter, right? That knows a lot about the medium, that knows all the skills, is mastering different aspects of, again, like I said, the hard and soft skills, but also is someone that is exponentially, magnetic as a personality, speaks to people in a certain way because of certain contexts and certain needs or whatever it may be. And again, your radio cap, this is the utmost importance to understand and put on when you are putting it into practice from the very beginning of who you want to become on air. Start small, start with what you know, and what you know best is yourself. Here are some examples, or questions. Briefly describe your personality. In other words, answer the question any station manager will ask you, tell me about yourself. Very difficult, because you can go anywhere and everywhere. And the thing is that you've got to need to know, you have to need to know that contextually, whenever someone asks you, tell me about yourself, like for example, you're on a date, right? 10 to 1, or you're meeting a new friend, just like that, like a boss would like you to tell him or her, future boss, should I say, about yourself, definitely your personality that can be backed up by hard evidence that proves you as a professional, right? Okay, to that particular person. Very difficult. When I say very difficult, people don't often speak largely about themselves openly. They know a lot about themselves, obviously, inside out, right? But speaking about themselves, not so much, right? Try it. You'll see the difference as to what it is that I'm speaking about. You'll see what I'm talking about, right? Name 5 skills that you think you need to bring to the table as a professional broadcaster and explain why they are necessary in the job so you can do it properly. So, using your answer number 1, apply the spin methodology to your personality and characterize yourself according to each of the methodologies or aspects, right? So, with the homework, and what I want to do is I'm gonna switch over just to the 2 personalities, so we can have a little bit of, like, I want you to put down some notes there, see whether you think they are generators or reactors, right? Or where you might feel that they are contributors of both or a hybrid of both. Again, if you are a little bit, maybe it's not enough. Maybe we listen to a particular link, which we're going to do in a moment, and it's maybe not enough. Go ahead and perhaps maybe presume to know the better of the two, more accurate of the two. But then obviously say why. That's very important, right? So let's quickly. I'm going to just quickly stop sharing there. Just make sure that I do share. I share the sound as well. Here we go. All right, and then I want this. Let's have a look at the 2 ladies.
It's Mikasa feeling you on at 947, 24 minutes after 5. So about a week ago, we wanted your help in our sniff test. Remember that?
It's utterly ridiculous, the concept that got us to this. Supposedly, women can smell singleness.
Correct. According to this study that Matt is talking about, women can smell which one is a single man. It was a 2019 Australian study. They had 82 heterosexual women between the ages of 18 and 35.
So they went in, like, that's a lot.
Yeah, and they had to rate body odors and faces in this study of heterosexual men. Half of the women were single while the other half were partnered. Each female scored 3 single men and 3 partnered men, randomly selected out of a total of 89 anonymous participants.
We were a lot lazier. We did not get 89 people.
No, we've got one person who is the single lady, joins us in studio. Bianca, why would you agree to do the study with us?
Well, Tando, I must tell you, I actually heard about the wine and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my nose to the test. If I can sniff out a good wine, I can surely sniff out a single man.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you heard that you could potentially find a partner. No?
Well, we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see how it goes.
Do you have a strategy going into this?
We're going in open-minded. If we think too much about it, then maybe it goes the wrong way. So open-mindedness, we'll see. We'll trust the gut.
Okay, so this is our own little study trying to match this Australian study. We have found 3 men for you, Bianca. One is single, one is married, and one is polyamorous. Here's how it's going to work. A beautiful producer, Dumi, is going to blindfold you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The 3 gentlemen will walk into the studio, and you're going to smell them to see which one is the single one. So what you're looking for is a single one.
Okay.
We're going to do it after headlines because we want to give you all the time to smell them nicely. What are you looking for in the smell? Do you know?
I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go with my gut.
Okay.
We don't want to put any assumptions out on the cards and say that the married one is going to smell a bit more like detergent
Okay.
because he's living in a clean household. So we'll just trust the gut and see what happens.
Okay. Straight men apparently are more attracted to a woman's scent when they reach their fertility point.
Really?
Yeah. And then conversely, when women are ovulating, studies have found they're more attracted to masculine looking males
Oh, okay.
because they're ready to mate.
I love the way that you say that.
Okay, so Bianca's our single today. We're trying out a little experiment, our own little sniff test to see if Bianca can smell the single men. Well, the single man, because we've got 3 men here. One is single, one is married, and one is polyamorous because we just need to add some spice.
A little bit of something along the spectrum.
Okay, Bianca, you're blindfolded. You can't see a thing.
Can't see a thing.
Okay, so we're going to call you gentleman number 1. Please step on over to Bianca's side of life. Just a little bit of a...
Okay. I need to get real in there.
So you can, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think I've got a...
What does he smell like?
Describe.
Can I have one more sniff, please?
This is bordering on creepy to watch.
This is not weird at all.
I feel very weirded out being part of this.
What does he smell like, Bianca?
I almost want to say he has like a calm scent to him.
Wow.
I'm
wow.
sensing a bit of contentment and calmness.
Contentment.
So,
Are you a medium? What do you do in a Bianca?
Gen number 1, carry on with your bad self.
All right, Mr. Calmness, thank you so much. Can gentleman number 2 please step on over?
I'm not
All
sure
right.
where you are.
All right.
Okay, you left.
Yeah,
there we go.
There we
He's gonna
go.
move
He's
to you.
right in there.
Okay, we've definitely got more of a, I want to say like a musky kind of masculine kind of smell there going. So very different to man number 1.
Okay. Wow. So almost like what do you mean by that? By masculine? What does a masculine man smell like?
I can't even describe it. It's just like I almost want to say it's got like this deep, but you know when you sniff a bottle of red wine and it's got this rich, deep
Bianca's
kind
about
of
the
smell.
wine.
She really loves the wine, eh? So the good news is if you sniff out the single man, you'll win yourself a hamburger courtesy of our friends at Bosch and Dahl. All right, gentleman number 3, come on over. All right, here we go.
Okay, he's in front of you.
Smell it in.
Okay, sure. That's a bit of a tough one. 3 very, very distinct smells.
Wow.
Very distinct smells. I would say gentleman number 3 is, I feel like I want to say he's out on the prowl, you know? I can smell that.
The prowliness.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So we've got a masculine man, we've got a calm man, and we've got a man who's out on the prowl. Which one of them is the single? Bianca, you'll give us your answer next. Apparently, the researchers in Australia, they snipped the underarms of each guy's T-shirt. It was then stored in a screw-top bottle, and the woman had to take a whiff.
Oh, there's a lot more scientific than our one.
Yuck.
So, I mean, Bianca, who's our single lady in studio, you sniffed their stomachs.
Look, can I just say, I'm very glad we didn't go the scientific route. I would
Yes.
much rather sniff the stomachs than have a bottled up armpit t-shirt. So thanks.
Okay, you did mention that all three guys had a very distinctly different scent.
Yes. So I would definitely say gentleman number one.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Are you revealing the answer?
No.
Oh, okay,
No,
go
I'm
for
just
it.
giving some background.
Okay, go first.
So gentleman number one was definitely a little bit more on the subtle. I sniffed a bit of contentness, a calmness to his scent. Wow. Number two was quite a deep, rich, like a nice glass of red Merlot type of smell. And then number three, I felt like he was out on the prowl, out looking for a good time. So
Like a bad boy who has lots of girlfriends. So you think, oh, I see where you're going with this. Okay.
okay.
Okay, let's start with the polyamorous guy. Who do you think was the polyamorous guy?
Sure. So I think that's going to be the trickiest one to identify. But I'm going to go for number three.
Number three, Prowley.
Three? All right, gentleman number three, please come on over. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kevin, and I'm married.
How long have you been married? Kevin, come back. How long have you been married?
3 years.
Okay, so definitely not polyamorous. Are you thinking of taking a second wife?
Oh, hell.
So then why are you smelling Prowley, Kevin?
Smelling good, don't you?
Oh gosh, that means his wife is doing the right things.
Correct.
Okay, two more. All right, let's go to gentlemen. Okay, you need to reveal which one of the two gentlemen, one or number two, was a single guy.
I'm going to go for gentleman number two.
You think gentleman number two is a single guy?
Yes.
Okay, gentleman number two, stepping over. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Chris, and I'm single.
All right. You get the goods on that. Very good piece, great piece, nice. Well prepped as well, very well executed, very fun to obviously watch. I guess it's enough theatre for the mind when someone is listening to it only on radio. Very good. I'm a big fan of Tando. She is a great presenter, but well prepared in terms of content, etc., and getting the people involved. Every little working or moving part really worked out well here. Nicely done. But personality, right? Personality from both her, the co-host, contributor here, probably news, right? Okay. Got the perfect personality sidebar. I know she's not part of the show, right? But great personality in terms of the participant, the listener here. But yeah, Tando shines really well. And a lot of people do have their criticism around Tando as well. She's not here for nothing, and she still has a lot of fun, and she is able to also, I mean, you would know if Tando's at a party, right? Right, you would know. Okay, here's another one, not as long. No, you all prefer or you like, right? Ayanda MVP. Let's have a look at so I'm not going to say much about the personality. You're supposed to do some exercise around that. And, the question around generator reactor type feel, right? What you think, right here.
I keep forgetting that you have
Yes.
a bass every time because I always think of you in your singing voice, if that makes sense.
It's the range.
How high can you go?
On the highest level.
Really? How low
I'm
can
always-
you go? This is the lowest.
Wow.
Can you Barry White it?
No.
Yeah, it's too deep.
No.
it's too deep. I
This
couldn't
is just
do-
like,
Yeah.
this is the mid.
This is the mid. This is your normal voice.
Yeah.
How you been doing, bro?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Best, highly favored.
Absolutely. The last time I saw you, I was in the club playing your music on the decks and you were rocking out. And I was like, yay! Yo!
Yeah, I do go to the club.
Yeah, no,
Vibes.
definitely. And you're there in the corner because, you like
Ghost.
being incognito, you know what I'm saying? So nobody see you. And I like that. I also like sitting in the far corner of a venue, whether
Big
it's a
vibes.
restaurant or a club. I just want to be in the corner because then you can see everyone.
Yeah, but it was energy though.
Yeah.
It was energy.
Absolutely. And it's good to be back. I'm glad that you're back. You dropped. And
Yeah, much loss.
yeah, fair too. Can we just go back, since I never got an opportunity to interview you for Utiko Onofefe? When you were
Wow.
like, no, I
Shucks.
didn't.
How long ago was that?
I was on the other side. Remember, I was on that
Okay,
other
okay, yeah,
station.
yeah.
So I always wanted to find out. Mauti Puma Satan, ubani be usatane back then in that situation. Like Puma Satan, was it like the bad energies, the people around you that were just not being
Yeah, but now
necessary?
you're answering the question for me.
No, I'm not answering.
But you're
Oh,
spot on.
okay,
That's
I'm
like
guessing.
you spot on. It's like, just removing all of that negative energy.
Yeah.
One needs to rise up every day and remove that negative energy. So that's what it was. Masatan.
That's true. And the the ad lib part. What was the idea?
No,
there?
that's natural. That's
Alright. You were feeling it. Yeah. Aye. You're really dope with the ad libs.
I
And
appreciate
you
that.
kill the production every time. I mean, we're gonna
Bless.
play Amadlozi coming up when we say goodbye, because it's been trending. You're doing good things with the music, and I'm so happy that you're back, because
Appreciate
production with you not there is nothing, man.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, what do you mean?
We've always been there. It's just,
No, but we missed you, and we're glad that you're back.
I appreciate you.
And please stay back. At some point I'm gonna say, yo, bro, I think I'm finna drop a tune, man. You wanna
Okay.
help me out? You know what I'm saying?
It's the spaceship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the
When it does
spaceship.
come to production, there'll always be taglines that producers or artists use. So now I want us to play a little game real quick to see if you know the taglines that belong to these artists. All right, okay. Now number one, yes, Kalengale. Who that?
The actual producer.
Yeah, well, I mean the tagline, or when you hear the tagline,
Yeah,
who
but
do you hear?
that tagline is Foka.
Yeah. And the
But
actual
the
producer?
actual producer for that.
I also don't know. Don't worry. Me, I'm hip hop.
No, wait. No, because the producer is featured on the song.
Yeah. Vigro Deep. There we go.
The name wasn't but
Yeah. I used to
Like-
think it was Virgo Deep, but it's Vigro Deep. Vigro Deep. Okay, try this one. And that's a popular one. You've heard that in hip hop tracks. Let me play it again.
Wow, that's
Sounds familiar, ne?
yeah, wow.
That's DJ Spin.
Wow.
Yeah, that's his tagline. And then surely you know this one.
Yeah, that's mustard.
Yeah, that's mustard.
But the thing is now, like, you're embarrassing me.
No, I'm not.
That's embarrassing for a producer to not know.
It's a good piece. It's a little messy though, but we're not looking at the content piece. We're looking at a personality, particularly here. Ayanda's really shining. Very, very, very present. Very much obviously herself. Much more comfortable here than she was at 947. And understandably so, why she is so popular at the end of the day. Right. Will you please do that for me and just have a look at the exercise and just complete it there? Hope you did learn something. I'll see you in the next one.